Hey, good evening. This is Dr. Eric Live. Okay, we're live tonight, and tonight we're going to talk a little bit more about inflammation. Inflammation. What is inflammation? Okay, there are basically three types of inflammation. Number one. Hi, Susan. Good evening. Get your notebook out, Susan. We're going to talk about inflammation because we know that inflammation is it's our big bad wolf, if you will, and we're the three little piggies. As soon as we get Kid on, then that's who we're waiting for now because you all are just constant as can be. But what we want to do is talk about inflammation. And let me tell you, Kit, I just gave you credits. I ran the credits for the night, and I said that we were going to talk about inflammation and the three little piggies, or the big bad. And inflammation is the big bad wolf. The big bad wolf is called inflammation. And inflammation is a process when things get out of kilter, if you will. There is acute inflammation that's commonly known as an appendicitis. If some of you have had an appendicitis out there in your story, then you know that it is a very painful situation where that usually has to be operated on very quickly. And this is acute inflammation where this small pouching at the terminal end of your colon gets infected. Okay, maybe secondary to stasis, but no matter what. And then there's a natural reactionary process called inflammation that the cells are called up, the T cells, the B cells, the macrophages, the lymphocytes are called up, and it causes something called pus. And if you don't arrest it quickly, and get to that and appendicitis, you wind up with a ruptured appendix. And then what happens is that pus has unlimited access to your bowel. I think most of us know that our large bowel runs about 30 feet long, and it twists and it turns all inside of our stomach. And it's the passage of all of our food sources that we grab all of the positive nutrients out of. That's an acute inflammation, or better known as an infection. Now, we also have something in my world called osteomyelitis. Osteo means bone, myelitis is inflammation of, but it usually is a chronic nature, and that it can be acute, but it can be chronic because we have such a hard time treating it, because we have to get it out of the bone, because once things get into the bones have so many interstices and crevices that it's hard to find all those bad guys, and we have to use very strong antibiotics for long periods of time in order to get some resolution. Sometimes we have to do marsupialization of the bone. I know that's a big fancy word, but marsupialization is when we basically open the bone up and cut it into a lot of different pieces. Don't remove it, but in order for the antibiotics to get to it, because if you don't get to it, the infection will stay in the bone. In that case, it's known as a chronic inflammation, and that's not a good thing. Then there's a third type of inflammation. It's called low-grade chronic inflammation. We don't know, it doesn't smoke, so you don't know that it's there. It doesn't have flames like the acute inflammation. It doesn't have smoke, so it doesn't smolder like a chronic inflammation. It's low grade. It's like your pilot light in your stove. You just never know it's going, do you? Okay, but that pilot light on your stove is always going. And so that's a low grade chronic inflammation. Now, what happens when you give it some gas? When you take that stove and turn the gas on, that pilot then goes what? Poof! And you have a burner, and then you have an acute situation going on. Okay, inflammation, acute inflammation, chronic inflammation, and low-grade chronic inflammation. And it's that low-grade chronic inflammation that we're learning that plays such a big role. It plays such a big role in the whole disease process, from dementia to Alzheimer's, to osteoporosis, to obesity, to diabetes. Oh my gosh, all of that, all those things are low-grade chronic inflammation. And what you do is every time you have that, you set off the fire alarm. You set off the fire alarm in your immune system. You set off the fire alarm in all three cases: acute inflammation, chronic inflammation, or low-grade chronic inflammation. It's that low-grade chronic inflammation that confuses the immune system, and they're not quite sure what to do with it. I don't see any flames. I don't see any smoke. Is it really that important? Okay, now that understanding, if you take those three scenarios: acute inflammation, chronic inflammation, and low-grade chronic inflammation, there's one commonality to all three of those things. What is it? Inflammation. And inflammation is controlled by the immune system. So what I need to do is I need some help, because I think that it's important that we build an overarching bridge of how vitamin CBD works. And that means that we might have to make a little minor adjustment in our credo. You remember our credo? Well, I want to change it on you tonight. And I want you to get used to it, because adaptation is the only thing that we can really depend on as we go through and fight these modern exposures to modern toxins, because the toxins that my mother and my grandmother and my great-great-grandfather was exposed to are much different. So the immune system is much different. And that's what AARP magazine is writing about these days, that our 50-plus-year-old immune system is not responding very well to the modern day situation. So we have acute inflammation, we have chronic inflammation, and low-grade inflammation. Let's attack it. Have you had your daily vitamin CBD today to reduce inflammation? That's the new addition, to reduce inflammation and support our immune system. You understand that there is a direct causative relationship. We reduce the inflammation, we assist our immune system. So let's try that again. Have you had your daily vitamin CBD today to help reduce inflammation and support your immune system? Now, it's a first order and second order effect that we're talking about. Okay, the first order effect is to reduce the inflammation, and that's been proven by patent, by United States Patent 6630507B1. That patent, held by the Department of Health and Human Services, said that cannabidiol, CBD, is a great anti-inflammatory. It's a great autoimmune, factor. And so if we have that inflammation as an anti-inflammation situation, let's use it. Let's do it again. Have you had your daily vitamin CBD today to help reduce inflammation? We know it happens, to support our immune system. Because every bit of chronic inflammation, acute inflammation, or low-grade chronic inflammation that we reduce, we're better equipped with our immune system. We'll make our immune system more efficacious, makes it more productive. Opposed to pulling on it, we're pushing on it. We're pushing it to a higher level. So here we go again. Have you had your daily vitamin CBD today to help reduce inflammation, to support your immune system? I hope you write that down, because we've evolved. We are evolving, and soon we're going to forget what our original one was, because we're going to keep on evolving. And as we make each word count, have you had your daily vitamin CBD today to help reduce your inflammation, to support your immune system? And that's what we're really doing. And that's why everybody, and I mean everybody, that has an endocannabinoid system, is critically important that we basically take our vitamin CBD for that particular specific, patented reason, to help reduce the inflammation. Where does the inflammation come from in the chronic low-grade inflammation? It comes from the oxidative reactions that we normally have in order to make things go. We have to create energy, and when we create energy, okay, to get our action potentials, to get our synaptic, presynaptic, and postsynaptic neurotransmitters to do the thing that they're supposed to do, and that is to maybe could do this, okay, or do this, or do this. Those are all take energy, and of course, the brain and the heart take a tremendous amount of energy. And when they create this energy, they get a byproduct known as an oxidase. And if you don't get rid of that oxidase, okay, it becomes chronic, low-grade chronic inflammation. And that inflammation will put a strain on the immune system. So have you had your daily vitamin CBD today to help reduce inflammation to support your immune system? That's my point tonight. I think that if we stick to that one point tonight, if you've written it down, if you share this video, okay, if you like this video, then what you'll do is you will have one point that we've made today. And that is that we need to help reduce inflammation to support our immune system. And through COVID-19 and through the coronavirus upheaval, we need the best immune system going. Because everything that I'm hearing is that things are going back up again, and we have to be socially distanced, wear our masks, wash our hands, okay, and help reduce inflammation to support our immune system. How's that? Okay? Well, that's all I have for you tonight, because I tell you, when you change credos, it takes some practice. You got to say it 6 times before it can stick. So let's one more time. Have you had your daily vitamin CBD today to help reduce inflammation to support your immune system? Okay, I think you got it. Please, thank you very much. And also, let me tell you that if you go to your daily dose, okay, you will find that we have about 6, 7, 8 more episodes on. And if you want to share them with a loved one, please do so. That's on our YouTube channel, and we're going to try to get up 200. We're going to try to put up 200 so that each person might find some salience with different 5-minute, 10-minute, 15 scenarios. Okay, these vignettes are made for you to not master the product, but to help understand, because we don't sell, we educate. And once you become educated, the product sells itself. Okay, good night. Please, thank you, and out.